Aloha, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, and thank you, committee, for putting this together as Democrats. I'm honored to be with you tonight, and I'm honored to end this campaign here in the last night here in Hilo, because this is where my family lives. This is where my extended family in Hilo lives, up on Healy Nye Street, so it feels so welcoming to be here at home. Many years ago, I came to Hilo. I was asked to come to Hilo as I served in the National Health Service Corps. I was a much younger person then, and I was a physician with the National Health Corps. And the day I arrived here at Hilo Airport, I was asked to go and serve in Ka'u, where 8,000 individuals, mostly Hawaiian and mostly Filipino, became the patients that I would care for in the coming years. And it was lessons in those days, the lessons of the Big Island, that were my adult lessons in life. Working in Ka'u, I saw extraordinary things as the doctor. I saw drugs infiltrate our society. I saw children suffer greatly. 2 children passed away almost in our care on the Big Island in Ka'u. One because a 1-year-old, was neglected. His parents were on methamphetamine, and he fell from a second-story lanai. And another child had a terrible, tragic car accident, again, when the parents weren't able to pay attention to him because of drugs. And due to the graces of God and good care from nurses, and me to a far lesser extent, we saved that baby. And in those days, I learned we had to do more, and that was at that moment I decided I wanted to serve somehow in another capacity. We've suffered earthquakes together, and you've sent me to the legislature for so many years. One earthquake, I was on call in Pahala Hospital, and I remember the building shaking, and I was in my underwear in the doorway on call, and I remember patients coming in one after another. One gentleman cut his thumb off, and we had to reattach it in the hospital, and I learned we needed more trauma care in the rural areas, that not one of us could do it, but many in a team could do it. I witnessed a woman who was a survivor of sexual assault in our ER who barely made it through. And there was no service that we could avail for her that was adequate on our Big Island. And we had to get her to Oahu. And on that day, I learned that not every Oahu hospital would deliver care to a survivor of a sexual assault. And we had to pass a law to help that woman. I learned the lessons that we have to have better access to health care, and we have to have someone to fight for single-payer health care. And I hope I'll be that person for you in the years to come. I was called one day by a woman in Ocean View who said that she knew of an older gentleman who was being abused by a son-in-law. I went up to that house at noon during the lunch hour when I knew he was away, and I looked in the window and I saw that elderly gentleman still in his bed, still in urine. And I broke through that window and carried that man out, and we took him to the hospital and we got him care, and I learned that we had to have better senior protection for our people. And so I learned all of these lessons. I learned all of these adult lessons with you as your physician here on the Big Island, so that's the honor of my lifetime to have served in that capacity. And then in crisscrossing the state, walking door to door to over 20,000 doors in these last 12 months, I've learned that we have a homeless crisis and an opioid crisis that needs tended to. I've learned so many lessons from you on Big Island, the people on Oahu, Kauai, and Maui, that I can't even tell you how valuable it is to me to be able to stand in front of you today and humbly ask for you to allow me to serve as your Lieutenant Governor so I can take my expertise, my experiences from the Big Island, these life lessons, and humbly serve as your Lieutenant Governor. I love you all. Thank you for welcoming my family into your lives, and I hope I can be your choice tomorrow for Lieutenant Governor. Thank you, Big Island.
Our next candidate for Lieutenant Governor is Bernard Cavallo.
All right, good afternoon and aloha. I was sitting here just watching, looking out into the ocean and how beautiful, this beautiful island, and how our responsibility as leaders to keep our aina and our land and our water safe, our environment. And having served as a mayor, the opportunity to serve as mayor of Kauai and Niihau for the past 10 years, and taking that experience to the next level, I really look forward to taking my administrative experience and understanding of working within our communities, asking the questions, bringing the voice of the people to the table, and making decisions based upon the people's choices and the people's hearts and souls. That's important to me. Democratic Party of Hawaii, Kili'i, opened up with a great opening and tying us back to our culture and our land. I look at the Lokahi wheel that is very important. Kino, health and wellness of our people. Kino, health and wellness of our land. Kino, health and wellness of who we are as people. Very important. Kuleana, our responsibility to assure that we as leaders reach out and connect and bridge and assure that the decisions we make really truly tie into the culture so our future can flourish. Kuleana, our responsibility. The na'ao, the right thing to do from the right place where you feel you know you're doing the right thing for the right people, for the right purpose is important to me and shouldn't be important to all of us. And of course, the mana, the spiritual guidance that leads us and guides us and connects us is very important to me as a leader. We need to connect all of that. And finally, of course, Ohana, family. That's what we do. That's why we do what we do for the families that we serve. And I look forward to taking my experience again into the Lieutenant Governor's office, bridging and connecting and understanding and knowing how to handle different situations, boots on the grounds, visiting people, asking questions, understanding, having to manage public works and parks and police and fire and senior centers, and all of it ties into the decisions that we have to make for the betterment of our people. And to say that our Hawaii is separated by ocean, the beautiful ocean, but we're connected by families and business and opportunities and culture and love and aloha, which we need to continue to perpetuate. Otherwise, we're going to lose it. And believe me, as the next Lieutenant Governor, I be assured that I'm going to bring that love and aloha into that office and reach out and connect to the people and assure that every single island has a voice and work closely with our governor and work as a team and understand that people know that we are working collectively for the betterment of the people, but never forgetting our culture. And that's important to me. I speak from my heart, and I understand the true needs of our people. I've walked this island, this beautiful island of Hawaii. I've gone to Molokai. I've gone to Maui. All of it. And touching and listening. We have a very diverse community, but we come from one source. There's nowhere else in this world that people are going to experience that aloha spirit. E akahai, kindness. El lokahi, unity. O olo olo, agreeable. Ha'aha'a, humility, humbleness. E ahanui, patience. Takes patience and understanding, but when the decision has to be made, let's make the decisions based on the people's voice, based on what the people are looking at, how we're reaching out. We're not doing that right now. I look forward to bringing that expertise because I've done it. And I'm not perfect, but I'm sure willing to work hard. I'm out there. We're out there. You surround yourself with good people, with good hearts and souls and understanding of how to move things forward. We brought back a very, very secure grant, working closely with Senator Schatz and Senator Hirono and all of our key leaders and Tulsi and everybody working for us. $17 million grant, transforming our island into walkable, bikeable, complete streets, safe routes to school, lighted crosswalks, roundabouts, peanut abouts, whatever about. And keep moving in that kind of connection. That's important. We need to go back to those plantation days and understand the connection of the people. And I bring that to the table. I'm committed. I'm ready. I'm so excited for the opportunity tomorrow. And I look forward, everybody here in the state of Hawaii, to being your next Lieutenant Governor for the state of Hawaii. So when you get into the voting booth, think big. Aloha.
All right. Our next candidate for Lieutenant Governor, Kim Koko Iwamoto.
Thank you very much for your very warm welcome. So my name is Kim Koko Iwamoto. I am a Democratic Socialist running for Lieutenant Governor. Like many, many people in this space here today and across the state and across the United States, I was one of those in 2016 to be so excited by the possibility of Bernie Sanders turning the status quo on its head, challenging the establishment that has kept corporations in power. We've had a tale of two Hawaiis, right? We know of the hardship that families are having, but in fact, there's also an incredible abundance happening when we look at all of the luxury condos being built in Honolulu and all the private estates created around our shorelines across the state. There are, we have properties being sold to the world's wealthiest 1%, while we look around ourselves and we see local families sleeping in parks and on our sidewalks. That is injustice. What we need is radical change, and I'm really sorry to say that It's a radical idea to hold corporations accountable to paying their fair share of taxes. Hawaii, as you may already know, charges corporations the lowest corporate tax rate in the nation. Lower than Alabama, lower than every single Republican-controlled state in the United States. What is wrong with our lawmakers that let these corporations get away with that, right? And when we talk about aloha for our communities, when we talk about extending a hand to the people of Hawaii who are displaced by the lava flow or the floods in Kauai, that takes money, right? Somebody has to pay for that, but not somebody, but some corporations need to pay their fair share. Also keep in mind that 27% of all privately held land in Hawaii is owned by corporations or individuals who don't even live in Hawaii, right? We need to make sure that they are paying their fair share of taxes as well. I just want to share one thought. During the super debate, many people mentioned that they were really pleased with my very clear answer to the question of would I send the National Guard in to address the protesters on Mauna Kea, and I was really clear in saying no. And the reason why is, I want you to think about this. I stand in solidarity with the Aina protectors, and for this reason, Mauna Kea is a conservation district. On Oahu, when the families of Manoa Valley protested Hilo putting electrical power lines over their ridges, the community came out and stood in solidarity with them, with all of these families opposing that development, right? The development of the electrical company putting these power lines over their ridges, right? And no one called them anti-energy. No one said that they were anti-electricity. But suddenly we have Kanaka Maoli on Mauna Kea trying to protect the Aina, and suddenly people are calling them anti-science. And I just want to say really clearly that that is racist. I know that there are many, many volunteers. There are many people here who've been volunteering on campaigns, local campaigns, statewide campaigns, and thank you so much. I know I'm one of those people who feel so frustrated that a huge cruise ship, a luxury liner, can come in and disrupt all of that with their $45 million war chest that they might put into a super PAC, right? They put $1 million or $3 million into a super PAC, and suddenly it makes our volunteer time feel so minuscule. I just want to say thank you to all the volunteers who are working on campaigns. Thank you so much for your time.
Kim Koku Iwamoro. We'd like to call to the podium Jill Tokuda.
Thank you very much. Aloha, everyone. Well, I agree. This is an absolutely stunning and distracting view to behold, but especially because, after over a year of campaigning and we've got cars driving past us, I've been totally holding back the urge to start waving incessantly at the cars here and hoping for a beep. I think I actually heard a beep from one of the cars as somebody passed by because, as you know, we have at this point less than a day really. See, I told you. There you go, right? This battle is not yet over, and as you know, even after tomorrow night, the journey is still on for many of us, and even for those who don't make it past the primary, our hearts are still in it. And I think it's absolutely fitting, and we know this from history, that we are in this bandstand, because look around all of you. You're in teal shirts and red shirts and white shirts and blue shirts and green shirts, and I have orange shirts somewhere. I know you're out there. You're in all color shirts and green shirts, and why? Why? Because we come together here in Hilo, the birthplace of democracy, wearing everyone's shirts, because for at least this time here, we drop our signs, well, we hold them, honestly. We wear our shirts, and we say we are Democrats first and foremost. And yes, when we go into that ballot box and when we stand on the roads, we are campaigning for our candidate, but we get it, that it's much bigger than any one of us, much bigger than any one of our teams. We come together to fight a bigger battle, a battle that Maisie was talking about, that's outside of our doors. for values and principles and philosophies that we know that we have fought for decades, for people out there that are depending on us. And that's why we come here, to a place with literally no walls, because it cannot contain the unity that we have amongst each other. And who do we have to thank for that? Every single one of you. So today, I want to spend time just thanking you. Because for over a year, we have been out there, filling out questionnaires, sitting on forums, on little stools, in the rain, in the sun and the wind. You saw that super debate too. We were trying to keep our hair together, and I think the governor guys were in the rain too. We have talked about issues and debated and yelled, put commercials on televisions. We've been on the side of the roads, but today, I just want to thank all of you for picking up signs, for walking on doors, for picking up phones and making calls, for keeping our democracy and our party alive, for Naleo, for making sure that we are across this state getting this information out, because that is so important for our democracy, because tomorrow we need to get them out to vote, right? Let me hear you. Let me hear you. They need to hear you out there. Because it's absolutely unacceptable to me that they're telling us that those voter turnouts are lower than we've ever seen them. So let us make sure that for every single one of us out there, for every campaign, for more importantly, for all the hard work you have put in there, that we get them to the polls. Because we know that it's not just about Saturday, August 11th. It's the day after and every day after that, for everything that we believe in. That's why we're fighting. That's why we work so hard. So thank you for letting me be a part of this moment with all of you. And let's get out there and let's work hard. Mahalo, and let's make this a great day. Take care.